It's called Beyond Smart. Can AI actually improve everyday appliances? And honestly, given how many of tonight's categories involve smart devices, this conversation couldn't be better timed. Please help me in welcoming our panelists for this discussion.
Mr. Manu Sharma, Managing Director, Dreamy. Mr. Nikhil Sareen, Co-founder, Kubo. Guys, can we have a huge round of applause for our panelists? Mr. Bijoy Alelo, Director and COO, TP-Link. And Mr. Tarun Pathak, Research Director, Counterpoint.
A huge round of applause for them, please.
And to moderate this panel, I would like to welcome on the stage Mr. Mithun Mohandas, Senior Editor, Digit.
Over to you, Mithun. Thank you.
Seems I'm the guy. Hello? Are we live? Okay. Seems I'm the guy they bring in if they want to keep things short and sweet. So I just saw time's up even before the session began. So I'll keep it short and sweet. The first question, I'm going to open it up to the entire panel. Now, this is regarding the AI features that are being included in practically every appliance. So I wanted your honest take in regards to the AI feature in your appliances that you find to be genuinely useful. So, Nikhil, how about you start off?
Perfect. Good evening, everyone. I think AI is now getting part of almost every appliance, right? So hard to pick. It's genuinely useful. But I think one of the examples I'll take is probably an air purifier. I think it just fits perfectly, right? So imagine you install the purifier and forget about it, right? You come back home. It detects that you've entered home. It turns on its own. It's continuously monitoring the air quality outside. It's connected to the the weather station to get real-time data on how the air quality is. It's adjusting, recognizing your pattern, your usage. So basically the way AI works in this is you really don't have to think about it, right? So that's the way I think the best use cases where products, it generally just fits in and you don't really have to make too much effort as a consumer. I think that's a great use case to me. Similarly, I think on cameras, etc., where it just detects, let's say your child's crying, right? It gives you a detection and tells you that you need to take action, right? So it gives me important alerts. I think another use case where AI fits in well on devices.
Manu, what about you?
I represent Dreamy Technology, and we are into robotics, and clearly RoboVacs have come a long way for many years. I bought my first RoboVac during COVID. It was pretty standard, would just go from one location to the other. It's a very standard path. But it has evolved quite a bit, over the years and has a lot of intelligence from a basic device. One of the features which I really like, and Dreamy puts a lot of effort in, building the capabilities on RoboVacs. We work with almost 4 million data points, which goes through iteration of almost 35 times in the algorithms. And detection of the, objects is very, very important. Our homes are very dynamic. You have toys, you have wires, you have cables, you have pets running around. And to navigate that and to ensure that, there's a seamless cleaning, in the house, despite all those objects, I think it's pretty interesting. And our RoboVacs can identify almost 280 objects. They've been trained with 99.9% accuracy. I think that feature is fantastic, and that's real AI because it doesn't require any human intervention. I think the second feature is about an intelligent mapping. Say a RoboVac comes in the house, maps the whole house, identifies different type of rooms, and and makes decision how to carve the path. For example, there are different types of flooring, so it navigates to different type of flooring and cleans and detects stains and accordingly cleans the house as well. So I think RoboVax, in my view, as a category and the features of AI intelligent detection, it's just fantastic. It's a real use case scenario where consumers get a lot of convenience and, they are able to live life at their own terms.
Vijay, about TP-Link?
Yeah. Hello. I'm audible? Yeah. Hi everyone. So I'm Bijoy and I'm the director at TP-Link, and maybe I'm proud to say that almost all of them here and maybe the ones watching at home live must be using a TP-Link device at home. And we come into an appliance which is the most neglected one. You may not see it preferably until unless the buffering starts on your mobile or the buffering starts on Netflix, right? And of course, TP-Link overall is an ecosystem. We are not only a router brand, but we are much more than that. We are a smart IoT brand. We have smart door locks. We just saw one getting an award. So, of course, with TP-Link, I'll just give a real life example. You must have seen that previously. We used to always use, whenever you must have seen at home, internet used to come at very slow speeds, 54 Mbps or so, and nowadays you see maybe a 1 gigabit also at places like Bangalore, Mumbai, or the metros, right? And to get that speed to you, this is where TP-Link stands at. And it is not easy. Generally, we see the router working at the back end. It must be there years and years, and there must be dust and everything on it. But previously, it was not. It was just about giving you the internet out of it. But now it's all about the number of devices which have been used at home, right? So now there are maybe a family of 4, but there will be 15 or 20 devices at home, right? And to manage all those devices, there is AI which is working behind it, right? And of course, AI is something which should make life easier. And if you have to explain it to the audience that, okay, this is an AI feature, I don't think then that's the right use of an AI. AI should generally be working at the back end and making life much more easy. And that's what our routers do. So they divide the speed according to the usage of the appliances, whichever are connected on the Wi-Fi. Almost all of the devices are nowadays connected on Wi-Fi. All of them, what you saw, the ACs, the refrigerators, cameras, everything is connected through Wi-Fi, right? So AI is a very integral part of our ecosystem as well. Yeah.
Now, quite a few interesting stuff from the folks who are building the AI products. Tarun, I want to get a market or industry perspective as to, is gaining consumer trust now a bigger challenge than implementing an AI feature in an existing product category?
I think a very important question. So if you look at any other technology wave that has been here in the past like 4 decades, there has always been this trust deficit because technology arrives first and then trust builds up. So technology scales, trust is a cumulative factor, right? And it is very asymmetric because if you look at from the technology transition in the early 2000, we had the e-commerce boom, right? When it all started, there is a little bit of skepticism from the consumers and eventually trust built, and now like almost like 40% of the smartphones are being purchased on e-commerce, right? So trust is a very fundamental thing. Think of it as like snakes and ladders. Like you build the trust and just one hallucination in AI, you go down and then you will be starting from scratch and then build on top of it. So I think it will take some time as technology scale. AI for us is another technology in the horizon. It is here to stay. And consumer will take time to understand, like there are 2 passive components to AI. One is which is sitting behind your products where consumer may not see it. And the other one is where you are conversing them physically, talking through an app. But the AI behind the scenes is making products better. I think the example that the gentleman has given. So that's the real AI what is happening, and the major scale I think will happen in a couple of years from now.
Interesting insight. I'd like to bring it back to Nikhil. This is regards to the AI experiences that are built in products. A lot of them end up being designed in isolation and not a lot of collaboration happens. So from your perspective, do you believe that there needs to be more collaboration between brands?
I think most certainly there needs to be more collaboration, but I think we're still in early days today, right? Like, I mean, for example, a lot of the devices today, I think, are using Edge AI, and they're pretty powerful, right? They can do stuff locally, they can sort of perform well, right? But if you look at, let's say, the new standards like Matter, which today's people are talking about, right? So a lot of brands want to get onto that protocol, but our belief here is that I think in certain categories, certain brands will do things better, right? So we'll take a far more vertical approach. So for example, in home security, we'll go much deeper, right? We'll build for the Indian household. We'll understand what problems happen here and we'll try and solve for those, right? Whereas, if you talk about, let's say, Matter for, as a protocol, it's probably going to be more horizontal. It's going to try and get as many devices onto that you have in your home to talk to each other and work together. So I think it's going to be a mix of both. I think brands will continue to build intelligence on their own platforms, go deeper, use AI. But I think definitely brands would be open to working with, such protocols as and when they scale and they become, more and more people start to sort of, adapt to them. I think we'll be happy to collaborate and work with them.
Now, Bijoy, I'd like to ask you about the amount of control that consumers should retain over, let's say, an AI feature being implemented in their device. And at what point do you believe that the automation becomes a little too intrusive?
True. And this is like the talking point of maybe the recent times, right? And I feel now AI is a thing, as what I just mentioned, that it should be a thing which should be working at the back end. You don't, if you have to promote it for somebody to use it, it is not actually working for it. It should not actually work for you that way, right? And it's more about, if I talk about a surveillance camera, right? So it's more about, previously it was all about, okay, watch it at the time, go back, watch it, but now it's more about detection, right? So how does AI actually come into it? The detection part of it is, it has clearly segregated that, okay, if you watch something in front of you, if it's a pet, it detects, it will not give you a warning. But if it's a human, it will give you a warning or it will give you a notification. So previously it was that every something passes on or a light of a car passes on, it would give a detection. That is when actually it started to be a little nudgy for the customer also. Now he has improved that a bit. Now, this is like a detection, but when AI goes into the decision-making mode, it should not be. Okay, so AI should not make decisions for you. The decision has always to lie with the customer. Okay, and that is what, of course, with us also, with us in TP-Link also, all the decisions are generally kept at the consumer end. If they want a certain, if they want a certain device to work in a certain way, it has to be configured from their end. And no AI which is there in TP-Link or in any other device should be directly making those decisions. And I feel that should be the norm going ahead as well. And that should be the borderline where we say that should not go past that. Yeah.
Manu, when we implement a lot of AI features into devices, there's a lot of data involved. It has to learn about the room that it's operating on, study the environment, and collect a lot of data. And therefore, the question of privacy always comes into the picture. So where do you believe that households should draw the line when it comes to the amount of data that a device can gather from its environment?
It's a great question. It's a very hard question. I think, first of all, consumers should not be making choices between convenience and privacy. Clearly, I think as the manufacturer, as a brand, you need to build trust for the consumers. At Dreamy Technology, we follow three principles. First and foremost is the objective. What is the objective of collecting data? I mean, I've been working in technology world for almost 3 decades. And my experience being, technology and data that you can gather really allows to improve a lot of services, experiences, even troubleshooting, but not at the cost of getting personal data, which can be misutilized. I think objectives has to be really defined. Second, it needs to be designed for privacy. I think that's very critical. For example, our RoboVax, it has camera in it, so it can take pictures, and sometimes it can take pictures not just of the dust particles, but it could be the background, it could be you, it could be somebody else. So all the photographs stay on the device. So I think it's designed by choice on the device, and consumers can, delete those photographs from the app. The third thing is, of course, encryption within the part of the design itself. You have to make sure that it is standard. And last but not least, I think you have to comply with the regulation and for any standards which is required in that particular country or the region. I think those three principles Dreamy follows very clearly. And it's not about, being AI compliant. I think it's about building confidence for consumers that, hey, we got these products from various brands and it works for you without compromising on your privacy. And that's the only way you can get success over the years. And that's the onus and responsibility of the brands to make sure that happens. So, yes, definitely great convenience, great experience is fantastic. Of course, innovation is important. But without consumer trust, AI cannot move forward. So, yeah, it's of paramount importance. And that's something every organization take it extremely seriously.
Now, to close things off, I'd like to go back to Tarun. We've had the privilege of having you as part of our jury for deciding the awards. I want your genuine take on how was the overall process, and also, just an honest opinion, what would you like us to improve regarding the overall thing?
Yeah, so again, as an analyst, we love insights, right? So my first impression when I was a part of the jury was the kind of the lab tested data what we saw. Honestly, during that 2.5 hour session, I learned plenty of things. So that talks about the insights. So it was not just the specifications we were evaluating or any marketing based claims. It was genuine data. I think you showed also in a couple of slides. So that RPM thing, that was the first for me. Maybe my wife knows that better. But yeah, so I think that was it. In terms of like improvement areas, like we are living in a digital age. Instead of pen and paper, we could have made it digitized. That could have like saved a lot of time. Yes, for you as well to analyze the same. So that was the...
Awesome stuff. So we heard about the amount of control that consumers should retain about their devices, the privacy safeguards that we need to have, and also that collaboration between brands is very important. So that was the panel, the second panel. Thank you all for joining us for this session. And I believe I can call on my colleagues again.
I would request Mithun and panelists to please stay back, and Mithun, please felicitate our panelists with a token of appreciation. A huge round of applause, everyone. A huge round of applause, everyone.
Thank you so much, our panelists. Can I please request Mithun and Tarun to please stay back, our jury member?